Pugh! That'll do it! That will do it! Pugh for Bournemouth! The roof of the Gold Sands is raised! Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football.
Well, good evening, Bournemouth fans. Cardiff won, AFC Bournemouth won at the Cardiff City Stadium. Dom Solanke scores and it ends up in a 1-1 draw. We've been there before, haven't we? Bournemouth tonight were far better than what we were against Queen's Park Rangers, but it wasn't enough. We were against a well-organised Cardiff side who were very economical with their attacking prowess, as well, the only bit of pressure they had, they scored. It's worrying times in terms of our ability to kill a game off and make the most of it when we're on top. If you'd like to be involved, make sure you grab a pair of headphones on your device, whether it's a phone, tablet or laptop, and go to the address at the bottom that's scrolling across the screen. It's afcbpodcast.com/take part. You'll just have to authenticate with YouTube or Facebook. As soon as you do, you'll be in the waiting room. If you hold on tight, we'll try to get you in as soon as possible. But this week, I'm joined in the flesh here by Tom Jordan, who's here with me. Tom, thoughts after that, mate?
Frustrating. It's really frustrating because I think we were a lot better tonight than we were at the weekend, despite the same outcome of the draw. But we should have killed the game off. We've hit the bar a couple of times. I think Cardiff were very fortunate to still be in the game when they got the leveller. So, yeah, really frustrating. But I think there was a lot more positives tonight than there was on the weekend. We've missed some good chances, which is always difficult to take because you know that the game was there for you. But I think on the whole, it was better than the weekend. We remain unbeaten. It's not the end of the world. I think it's just really frustrating when you should kill the game off and then you just concede a silly goal with, like you said, the only real opportunity they had in the second half. So frustrating one.
How many times can we really say this, though? Because we've got to have some patience with Jason Tindall and his new regime. But when you're dominating a game so much, we saw the possession stats show on screen through that first half and in I think the half time, and we were absolutely dominating. Yeah. And we should have been absolutely clear, but we weren't. That's worrying, isn't it?
It's a little bit worrying. And like you say, Dom gets a goal and you think, oh, that's going to kick him on there. Then the header he should have scored, and the keeper's made a good. Maybe have a look at it back, he could have done a bit better, but I thought the keeper made a great save, tip it onto the bar. But yeah, it's frustrating. But having said that, you've hit the bar twice. You think that's more unlucky, I would say. But yeah, I do agree that it's frustrating. And like you say, the Middlesbrough game, we were 1-0 up and didn't kill it off and conceded a silly goal. But I'd rather draw like that than we did on the weekend where we didn't really create anything. I think there was a lot of positives tonight. I think Junior played well, got 90 out of Junior, which is really big. Thought he played well. Thought Diego and the back three were pretty solid again, apart from the goal from Meps. I didn't think anyone had a bad game, which is something. And managed to get Raquelme on for his first few minutes and stuff like that. But yeah, just a really difficult one to take when we should have wrapped the game up. But still unbeaten. That's what we've got. We can't moan too much. We haven't lost a game yet. And I think anyone would have probably, if you had asked at the start of the season, 6 games in, 3 wins, 3 draws, I think we would have taken it. And there was better signs tonight than at the weekend.
I've not checked Twitter or social media yet, but I get a horrible feeling that a certain player may be getting pelters tonight. And you think it's maybe undeserved. Is that right?
Dom's always going to get pelters, unfortunately, because he missed some chances. But I think I said to you in that game, don't get me wrong, he's got a fit. He'll be looking at himself thinking, I could have had at least a brace tonight. But he's taken a chance, like he has in previous games. He's taken his goal well. And I'd be more worried if he wasn't getting the chances. He's obviously getting himself in the right positions, and we're obviously creating a bit for him because he's getting the chances. I've always heard kind of strikers say, when they're retiring, that the time to worry is when you're not getting the chances. He's getting the chances. They will come. Like I say, one, he's hit it straight away like he should do, and the keeper's managed to tip on the bar. Another day that scrambles in. I think his general play to the team, I think he puts a real shift in. And I think it was when we beat Coventry 3-2, he didn't score. 3-1, sorry. He didn't score, but we ain't scoring 3 goals if Dom won up there. He worked his socks off and really connected things well. And he did get a goal tonight. Let's not forget that. Don't get me wrong. If you had a better striker, yeah, we're probably finishing that. But, I don't think it's easy to scapegoat Dom, and we missed some chances tonight. But when the attack were playing as we were, yeah, we didn't kill them off. we just got to make sure we don't concede a sloppy goal. Let's look at that as well. You know, at the end of the day, I thought Meps played well on the whole, but Meps should be getting more penalties than Dom Solanke, and he just won't because of the way it is. But Meps was silly for the goal, and they wouldn't have scored otherwise. I mean, we all knew it was going to be Harry Wilson if they were to score, but they didn't really do a lot else apart from that. So it was, tough to take, really. But
Tom, nice one, mate.
We got
Thank
again.
you very much.
Happy birthday to Morgan as well. I know it's Morgan's birthday today. Staying unbeaten for Morgan's birthday. It's my birthday on Saturday, so we're going to stay unbeaten again. I mean, if we lose our unbeaten run on my birthday, I'm going to be.
That would be.
I saw they won tonight, so that's going to be. I think that's going to be a real test. And after Watford, I think we'll really see what we're about because that's going to be our biggest test. So looking forward to it. But let's keep positive, guys.
Yeah, listen to the man himself. That's Tom Jordan asking all of us to keep positive. And he's right. And Morgan Scott, whose birthday it is, we're going to bring him in next straight away. So happy birthday, Morgan. Hope you're doing well. Although that match wasn't the birthday treat that you really wanted, was it?
No, not really. I reckon. Did you see that final one of the efforts in the second half that went miles over the bar, right into to break someone's arm like Ronaldo did at Dean Court a few years ago? I reckon even after my dominoes, I could have scored some of the chances Solanke didn't. But anyway, moving on to the game, I thought in terms of the AFC Bournemouth tonight, it was much better than the QPR. 100% agree with what you and Tom were saying there. But firstly, where was Josh King to be seen tonight? We had we go from it's just getting one after another now. You had the international, and I thought Brooksy might be on the bench, but obviously that didn't happen. If I'm being honest, I was watching that game with a friend, and every time Solanke got the ball, we were like, "Oh my god!" I even messaged you at one point, Sam, and we just to say how infuriating it was. And when the ball went up for Sam Surridge, I was about 20 seconds behind due to Now TV. But when I saw on Twitter that Surridge was coming on, I was like, "Oh my god!" Because and I don't think he means to be dreadful. We said before the show on last 3-4, but I think the thing with Solanke is he just lacks the confidence, and if you haven't got it psychologically, you can't perform.
We're going to bring in Billy shortly, but we'll just go through a number of messages online. Algard says, not lost away to a side that will be top 8. Positive point, but should have been 3. Holly Feet, Solanke scores, and we still get the doubters, same old story. Michael, slow, ponderous again, no width, lost our attacking flair. We've got a lot of happy birthday Morgans on chat, which I'm sure that you can see as well. Mark Dean from Cherries Trust says, you don't score, you don't shoot. Smithy saved 3 really good efforts. Lerma was pretty commanding. And there are some more messages that saying Carl Loveridge, that game was screaming out for Lewis Cook from the 75th minute from Gozzo. We'll go through some more, and if you want to have your message on screen, then by all means tap it away and we'll try to get it on screen as well. And also, if you want to take part, just go to afcbpodcast.com/take part on your phone and put some headphones in and we'll get you on air. Billy's waiting patiently. Billy, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Right. First of all, happy birthday to Morgan. I know he's always got something nice to say on the stream. As just said there about his dominoes, I was just cracking away laughing. So, so we'll get down to the game. 100% happy with it. I thought that was absolutely outstanding from us today. Against the Cardiff side that we're going to fight for something, there is nothing wrong I can say about today's performance.
Wow. Well, that's good to hear that you're in that frame of mind. But does it not worry you that we can dominate teams so much yet not put the game to bed?
I mean, I can understand that. I mean, 100%. I was disappointed when the goal went in, despite how we spoke about last week about imagine if it was Harry Wilson to score, and I blame my jinxing for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a point against a really tough Cardiff side. I mean, going away to Cardiff, it's always been difficult for us to at least even get a point there and still be, we're 4th now. So we're still in a good running for promotion this season. I know it's early, but we can still get there. I've got belief, and we're going into a really, really tough game against our rivals for the season, Watford. So at least a point away at Cardiff, it will do. And we've just got to move on to the next game. We will take a point to move on. We can't sit here and moan about our poor performances. because today we were fine. It was just struggling. I know it was struggling that we didn't. How to put it? We didn't put this bed. It was disappointing. We didn't get the 3 points. But like I say, a point, move on.
Okay, what we're going to do, Reese is standing by, and we're going to look to bring him in very shortly now. Hopefully he can see and hear us okay. Reese, what are your thoughts after that?
Do you remember that 2-2 draw? Then Matt Ritchie scored the late equaliser.
You are a little bit faint in sound. You may have to just up the volume level slightly there, Reese. I'll give you a little chance to do that, or just put the device a bit nearer to you, but a little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I was
yes, better.
It was my birthday a couple of days ago. I got some blue beats, and so
happy birthday!
Thank you very much. So it felt like, you know, when Matt Ritchie scored that late equalising goal at Dean Court a couple seasons back. That's what it felt what Harry Wilson did. But at the end of the day, that's his career. I'm quite disappointed. Like, I want answers where Kelly, CCV, and King is, because we shouldn't have came up into that game. No, not game. Going into that game, we shouldn't have won in the final last 15 minutes goalless. We should have at least got a goal or two like that. Like that. When that what was I gonna say? I'm losing my train of thought.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll tell you what. Let's just try to go through the game chronologically, okay? Because I thought for the first quarter of the game, I thought we were pretty sloppy. I thought Cardiff looked fairly threatening, and they had early doors. They had better possession, better territorial advantage, and we were failing to string passes together. But the more the first half went on, the more we got into it. I think Adam Smith, he cut in on his right foot after a pretty good spell of possession. It was a good save by Smithies. I thought Rico was really good and is consistently showing his worth in the position that he's in by pinging these zippy passes forward, ball to feet, balls over the top, balls around the corner, almost Charlie Daniels-esque, but from that back three centre-back position. I think he had a pretty good game today, and one of his balls, I think, found Stacey, who fed Jefferson Lerma, who played that through ball to Stanislas, who cut back to I'm not sure who it was who had the shot, but we were creating chances as the game went on. But you kind of look at these chances, you think we're not taking any of them. Morgan?
Oh, 100%. No, you got that spot on. To be honest with you, the way how we haven't come out of that game with 3 points is kind of, I wouldn't say as bad as previous. Like, it kind of takes me back to I just thought we should have bought on a sub earlier than we did. So when Riquelme came on, I thought he looked really good, to be honest. He only played a few minutes, but I thought he looked all right. Yes, our bench wasn't great. As I mentioned, I'm not sure where Kinney is. Reece, you got that spot on as well. But something's got to give. You know, we got Josh Kinn, who could potentially win us games, and he's nowhere to be seen. Has he got another migraine? Like,
yeah, well, we don't know.
What's he got wrong with him tonight? But I think we need to be finishing chances. Solanke should have had a hat-trick at least tonight, and that's not to be unkind. Yes, okay to keep him made some really good saves, but I reckon if Solanke was banning him in like top bin, then the keeper would have no chance. And you know, every striker in every team gets maybe 15, 20 goals a season. With Solanke, we're going to be lucky if he gets maybe 3 or 4. Yes, he's got my birthday goal like Gary Neville projected. Thanks, Kirk, for that. But it wasn't enough to see us through. And like, I just don't know how many opportunities we can keep giving him.
I'm reading there's a Twitter meltdown, Kel Surprise, so I'll check that out later to see what the usual candidates are saying. Simon K standing by. We're going to bring him in very shortly. But Reece, just to finish, because the audio is a little bit choppy. Man of the match tonight for you.
Diego Rico.
Rico.
All I'm saying is I'd love to see Rico play as that left wing back role. I don't want to see him on that centre back role, because how I'm watching the matches is it's not working out of a right-footed wing back. So I think I'd like to see Offerbor play as a centre back because I think he would do. I think he would do his job there. Put Rico as left wing back, and maybe switch Goslin with Lewis Cook because Lewis Cook could maybe be that creativity to maybe, I don't know, give us a goal or something.
Okay, brilliant. Reece, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. Hope to speak to you very soon, buddy. And happy birthday for in the week. It's birthday central. I don't know whether those banners were for him or for you, Morgan. I'm not sure.
Who knows?
Simon Kay is also here as well, so I'm going to bring him in right away. Simon, how are you, sir?
I'm a Solanke fan, as you know. I kind of wanted to give him some time and patience. However, I did lose my patience when he had that header. That should have at least been on the target. So, yeah, slightly frustrated. But the good news is when I spoke to Frano earlier, he says Josh is up for it. So roll on Watford.
Well, that would be good, and it almost requires a striker with that caliber of finishing, like we know that Josh King can provide. Because I must say that look, Callum Wilson, there have been times before in last season where he had headers that he put over the bar. Even for Newcastle, there was a sitter that he put sort of over the bar, and Solanke, he's very good, like when he starts deep, and the ball retention's not bad, but it's when he gets into those positions, I just perhaps don't have faith in him at the moment as much as I would with other players. So Josh King, I would say, would surely have to replace him because you want a striker that can convert, really, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And I think the performance on the whole, I was very happy with. However, as in some Twitter chat I was having with some of the usual suspects, I think yesterday, is we have to be the ones that not only put our foot down, but we have to be taking those chances. There's no doubt we had them. And if we don't start converting those chances, the best we'll get is top six. We have to be putting chances away if we want to be going back where we want to be, or at least where I think where most people want to be.
So, Billy, I'm quite sort of pleased you came on early doors to give us a little bit of optimism and positivity, because I must admit I sort of came on this feeling quite crap about things. But you're more pleased with the performance than the result, it'd be fair to say.
100%. I thought the performance was 9 out of 10. I don't say it's perfect because of the result, but the result obviously could have been better. But no, but my man of the match, as Reece said, I had to say Diego Rico, and I think what he said there about having him as a left wing back instead of Adam Smith was spot on. And I would put Overbor in that centre-back role. It may be Adam Smith there, but 100% Diego Rico as man of the match.
Brilliant. Billy, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we did have Ivan there standing by, but he's just gone out of the room. So JJ Brown is standing by. We're going to bring him in now. JJ, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not bad, you?
Yeah. How are you feeling after that?
Underwhelmed and frustrated more so because I've seen a lot of the tweets sort of saying about how why we're being so negative with the spot we're in, and I don't think what I said in the tweet earlier was I don't think that we're in a bad position. I think there's a lot of clear individual quality. I think we lack a certain style of play and a certain directness. I think if you look at our results this season, I can only say commentary that I feel like we've played well. And I think we sort of go into games where we sort of get to the final third, we push our players on, and we sort of have this idea of how we're going to get there. And then it's like once we get there, there's no sort of ideas how we play. We rely on games like Blackburn and Norwich where we had Arnaut with individual brilliance, solo goals like Stacey's against Blackburn. I don't feel like we have any specific intent. It's more sort of relying on certain players to just be good rather than a specific idea.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, actually. Sorry to jump in, because I think we do have an idea, and I think for the majority of that game, we had overlap. Stacey had space. One of the frustrations on many times during the game was the ball didn't go into the box as quickly as it possibly could do. There was definitely options there. So I do see a plan. I just don't see the finishing off of it.
Yeah.
I think-
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. Go on, JJ.
I think maybe not necessarily there is, that idea, but I think overlaps are like a basic play any team attacking. It's not necessarily this is how we're going to break down each specific team. And then it's how we move away from that when it's not working. 'Cause one thing I was noticing during the game, right side, yes, Stacey got plenty of joy. Every time we came down that left side, if you watch Hoylett, he got in so well to cut off that passing lane. His positioning was so well that he could take a step to either side and there was no cutback coming. And at the end of the day, against Cardiff City defence, Dom or whoever's in the box isn't going to win a header when we cross the ball in. It's not coming off. And then I think we sort of at that point, we do really rely on certain players to step up and provide with individual brilliance. And I think it's hard to see that. I don't feel like we play as well as we could. And I think that's the issue. I don't think we play poorly, but I think it's frustrating knowing the quality we have, that we could be in a much better position than the good position we're already in.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. Morgan, we're going to let you go for a minute, but just before we do so, you're in agreement with Rico being man of the match, because a lot of people on chat seem to say that, or is there anyone else that you'd like to give mention to before you go? I
thought Steve Cook did well tonight. I thought he really made a load of there were a couple of headers come to mind, and also some sliding blocks that really, really helped us out of the back. I think without him, it could have been, they might have got a sneaky little another goal that they didn't deserve. So yeah, really happy with Cookie's performance.
Brilliant stuff. Morgan, cheers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We've got Ivan and Harry and Keith Thomas standing by. Ivan, I'm going to bring in now. Harry's going to be coming in straight afterwards.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hey guys, how's it going?
Very good, very good. How are you doing?
So I have a hard time hearing you guys.
Oh, no worries. We'll try to talk as loud as we can. I think it may be a volume at your end.
So I have a hard time.
What I can do, I can hear myself in the background there. So you may just. What I'll do is I'll take you out just for a second. If you want to sort that out in a moment, because there's a little bit of feedback. And Harry Bailey will bring in now. Hopefully you're ready. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. First time seeing Bournemouth this season on telly, obviously.
What do you think?
Defensively, we were all right. I rated Mepham. He was good in the air. Every header he seemed to win. Rico was really good. Steve Cook was good for recovery tackles. I just think Stacey's really dodgy defensively. He's great going forward. He's kind of dodgy coming back. And obviously Smith getting injured at the end wasn't ideal either.
No, and do we know much about that? I haven't actually seen because I came straight on here, but obviously he seemed to be hobbling off the pitch, but fingers crossed.
I know he walked back to the bench anyway, but then Van Dijk walked back to the bench at the weekend.
Well, yeah, no, that's right. So, I mean, in those kind of situations, if Smith is maybe not in a good position, maybe it could be chance for Rico to be out in that position, and then perhaps someone like Lloyd Kelly to come back in, and maybe even someone like Offerball. We don't know. Dom Solanke, there's a lot of people on chat talking about him, saying that he's been wasteful. It's good to see him getting in those positions, though, isn't it? But he just needs to convert better.
Oh yeah, I don't know how many goals we can even expect from him this season. Or we've definitely not seen his best. In a Bournemouth shirt. His best was in an England shirt. So honestly, I had no expectations for him this season, genuinely. For goals, I was kind of hoping it was just all going to come from Danjuma. And then if King does decide he wants to play, then obviously that's ideal as well. But Danjuma seems to be one of the more creative players. And Dan Gosling's kind of surprising how often he plays the ball forward. It was really unlike him in the Premier League. In the Premier League, he wasn't making the late runs he's making in the Championship. He's quite good playing the ball forward, whereas the other centre mids, Lerma, he was wasteful playing the ball forward. Obviously, Billen wasn't on the pitch. So I don't know. Creatively, we seem to be okay, but it's actually putting the ball on the net is obviously going to be a massive issue, because I don't think Sam Surridge is going to set the world alight either.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about our formation today? Because it was like a sort of 3-4-3 again, and it was Gosling and Lerma in the middle. Last on Saturday against QPR, I thought Dan Gosling was quite poor. And he's always one of these players that seems to have a good game and a bad game.
Yeah.
And, today was that good game. And I thought, he was very good today. He was one of a number of players that I think are worthy of note. I mean, Stanislas, I think, grew into the game increasingly. Yeah. Towards the end, I think he tailed off a little bit. Danjuma shows his unpredictability and the fact that it's quite a good thing for us, but it didn't quite click today, did it? No. That said, we hit the bar twice. So are we perhaps maybe being a bit too negative when we, perhaps on another day those two chances would have gone in?
How many times they hit the bar? They hit the bar at least once, didn't they?
So they hit the bar in the post.
We hit it 3 times, I think, in the end, because obviously Junior Stanislas' free kick as well. But I don't know. It just felt like we were very unlucky today. What would you be doing against Watford, Harry?
Hoping that Dom Solanke just shows up. I don't know. Because obviously Tyndall's not got his. I don't know if Tyndall has his best formation yet. And Riquelme, I don't think he's going to start. So I don't know what to expect from him either. I know there is like a buy clause at the end of the loan this season, so maybe he could be like, because we've got so many wingers fail the last 5-6 years that we've brought in that had like such potential, like Gradle, Iturbi, Atsu. So hopefully he's not going to be another one of them. But he doesn't seem he got bullied off the ball quite easily, I feel. Obviously, he was only on the pitch for like 6-7 minutes. But anytime he got the ball, he might beat one player. The second player would just shoulder him off the ball quite comfortably. So yeah, against Watford, I don't know. The only changes really you need to make is obviously Adam Smith's probably not going to play. But going forward, I don't know what you really can change. Hopefully it clicks.
Yeah, I think JJ's right that probably would bring in King surely.
Yeah, if
Brooks. Brooks. I don't know how sort of ready he is. I don't even know what formation would be good against Watford. There's a number of different variables really that Jason Tyndall's got to work out, and it's a very quick turnaround. It's Saturday lunchtime we're talking about, so not even many days training between now and then either. But we'll see what happens. Harry, thank you very much for coming on today, mate. Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you, buddy. We've got Ivan who's standing by, Keith Thomas and James as well. And yeah, JJ, thank you very much for your contribution, mate. Really appreciate it. Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much. Right, so let's try Ivan again. Hopefully you can hear us a little bit better.
I can hear you now. 3rd time's the charm. Sorry, guys.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, absolutely no problem at all. And also, we are going to bring in Keith Thomas as well here. Keith, how are you?
Not too bad, fella. I've gone professional. I've got earphones in now.
Beautiful. And the sound is crisp as you like. So, Ivan, explain that.
Oh, man. There's a lot of good points to touch upon. I mean, I think the international break did us worse than it should have. It did affect us a lot. I mean, Lerma came back tired. We had a lot of our players just I see why we're disappointed, because we came back from international play not playing the same way we had before the break. But today showed a lot of positives. I mean, it again, that attacking football that we were looking for, QPR, it was very disappointing because it was more of a shadow of what we had the first 5 games with Tyndall. So today there were positives. I mean, Solanke again, frustrating.
And did it surprise? I mean, we obviously went 1-0 up, and it's always a fear with Bournemouth that when we go 1-0 up, we don't seem to make the most of our chances. And we should have been 2-0 up, 3-0 up, and there was always that threat. And lo and behold, it would have to be Harry Wilson. We just knew it was going to happen.
There was just a few chances. I mean, the free kick itself. I had to literally grab my partners and my girlfriend, and at the time I was just like, he's gonna score, and I was just so worried about it. And he was definitely he looked like the most creative player with Cardiff. And at the first 15 minutes, there was no idea what we're doing defensively, and then we wrapped it up, and we looked more cohesive at the end. But again, I mean, it is frustrating that we're missing so many chances. It's exciting to see that that at least we're attacking. I mean, it was my only drawback from this was when we realized that the ball coming from the back was not working. When Mepham was pressure, I mean, the goal came from pressure against Mepham. But there was a lot of instances when the defense was pressure and a lot of chances where Rico Begovic had two players closing them in, and we were playing out from the back and we weren't changing the game. That was a little bit frustrating, you know.
Yeah, Keith, what was your analysis of what you guys saw today?
It's one of those nights, isn't it, mate? We should have got in. Let's not forget, Solanke did score for us tonight, so you know, we seem to have forgotten that. I thought we were much better. We showed attacking intent. Going forward, we were quite decent, and I really liked the move from Lerma to Stacey and then putting Solanke in. So that was really good. The goalkeeper for them with Solanke's shot, actually, that was an outstanding save. I mean, he pulled that off. But Harry Wilson, he came back to haunt us, and didn't they play him in the number 10? And did we not play him in the number 10 last season? He looked like he wanted to dominate the game for them today, and maybe we played him wrong last season. At least what I saw tonight, anyway. So
Simon's got his thumbs up there. Simon, you're broadly in agreement with what Keith's saying, I take it?
You just need a thumb for those comments, Keith. I couldn't agree more. Number 10 role. I just hope
absolutely.
Brooks, when he comes back, gets to play in a kind of similar role in that hole
Absolutely.
behind. You know, Brooks behind King up top, I think would be brilliant. How we could then be a bit better in that final third than we currently are.
Well, this is where I want to be brave. I would have two number 10s. I would have Solanke, Brooks with whoever is up top and cause them the defence's real problems, destabilise them, which is what we did to get our goal. They didn't know whether to go, who to cover and what have you. You could play that way as well. You know, there is a lot of positives. I do laugh at Twitter. It's the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. It's just before we even get on the pitch, we're on their back, and you just think, I love to see their management. Some of these guys are they watching FIFA or something like that? I don't know, but look, we're unbeaten. We're getting there. We've got to take a game at a time. Watford's going to be a real test because they look quite good tonight, I'm afraid. So we've got to dig deep. Cookie was really good tonight. I thought he had a solid game. And we seem to have got the shape right. But yeah, I agree. We need to be more clinical up top. But you've got to you've got to create the chances to be clinical. We weren't in the last game. We didn't create anything at all. But we upped the tempo. A little bit laborious sometimes in the first half. We're a bit slow to get at them, but. Fair play to Cardiff. They saw how QPR played and thought, right, we'll get them again. So that might be what we're expecting going forward. But we soaked up the pressure in the first 15 minutes, and it's just a Mepham mistake, really, that allowed them in. So, but I'm not panicking. I have no expectations. If you do, you're only going to get disappointed. That's how life is at the moment. So, yeah, but look. We're still there. We're still in there. We're fighting, and the big boys are starting to get results now. Brentford and Norwich. So we've got to watch out for that as well.
Right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a couple more faces in, and for the meantime, say goodbye to Simon. Simon, thank you very much for coming on again.
Simon, always good, mate. I enjoy your
yourself.
golfing lessons, mate.
Thank you. I'm glad you did. I'll give you some bunker tips whenever you need it.
Haven't played in years, Simon. Cheers, Simon.
Everyone.
Thank you very much. And also, Ivan, well, thank you very much for coming on, mate. You're making your debut. Really appreciate it, mate.
Thank you. I was a lot of the hand movement, so I apologize for that and the issues with the audio. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no,
good lad.
Mate. Yeah, all the best. And hope to speak to you soon. Right, James is coming in any second now, as well as a familiar face, by the way, of Kirk Tovey. So let's bring in Kirk. Let's bring in James. Here we are. James, though, you've been waiting around the longest. Thoughts tonight, mate?
It's not as bad as all that. I don't think. A draw away at Cardiff. I think Solanke's biggest asset at the moment is there's zero competition for his place. That was a worry going into the match looking at the substitutes. I thought the substitutes bench, if we were looking at chasing the game at any point, which we were towards the end, there was a lot of defensive options on that bench, but there wasn't a lot of attacking options. And that's probably a bit of a worry going forward into the rest of the season. I think Lerma in this new role that he's got where he's been freed up a bit in midfield, he's looking like an absolute Rolls Royce of a player. I love watching him rampage forward. He's looking great. Danjuma's exciting every time he gets on the ball. Stacey was free on a number of occasions on that right-hand side and wasn't utilised. He's finding a lot of space, and I think he's going to have a great season. I think we missed Kelly for a bit of composure at the back, and I think we had a bit of a worries of the Eddie Howes at the start of the game. First 15 minutes trying to play it out from Begovic on the floor, on more than a number of occasions to really settle the pulse. But I think we should have killed the game off first 10 minutes of the second half. Didn't do that, and then these things happen, don't they? With the old player coming back and getting the equaliser, but it's not all doom and gloom. Still unbeaten. It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose Cardiff haven't got any points at home this season until today, but they are a side that were fairly solid last season, playoff fodder, and they're a side that Neil Harris is slowly making his own. He's got rid of a lot of the dead wood and he's moulding it, and they are getting better week on week. So I think they are a good side, but when you look at the game, we dominated them, I thought. Yet we didn't get the result. So we've got to give them some kind of criticism based on that, surely, haven't we, James?
I think the criticism comes in not taking the chances early on in the second half. That's where it comes from, and ultimately that's the fault of the striker, isn't it? Really, that we've got playing in those positions. And I think, like I said, Danjuma and Stanislas are creating. They're creative players. Some of those, and that's not the fault of Mepham, big centre back and on the 6 yard line, trying to deal with a quick ball. But it's the fault. It's certainly Solanke needs to be. We've given him a lot of time at the end of last season in a difficult campaign, and like I said, I think his biggest asset is that there isn't that many takers for his position at the moment in our squad.
Now, Kirk, formations are something that you've been looking at in recent games, and you thought against QPR the formation perhaps was incorrect, and you went for the 3-4-3 tonight, and you said, well, I thought the 3-5-2 that we deployed against QPR might have actually been better against the Bluebirds tonight. What were your thoughts when you saw the team lineup and your initial thoughts of the game as it went on?
I thought it was a bit surprising. As I say, I felt like it was the wrong way around when they looked at the fixtures. The first 15 minutes was like a hangover from Saturday. The tempo of the game did not match the formation that we put out with the attacking flair we had on the pitch. But once we finally got going, we started to move about. Because I thought to start with, Stanislas and Danjuma were quite stagnant and almost just operating on their left and right sides. But then once we got over about a quarter of an hour, they started to move about a bit, and we started to be a little bit more proactive. And Lerma was, doing his stuff in the middle. So we got better as the game got on. Dom Solanke doesn't really bother me. I mean, we can come to that again if you wish to, but I'm not really fussed by it. There is a reason for it, but yeah, I'm okay with it.
Really? Because I thought you were going to go in 2 foot today, Kirk, but obviously not the case.
Do you know what it is? It doesn't really affect me because he's not a number 9 striker. So don't set that expectation, and you're not disappointed. At the end of the day, he is not a number 9 striker. He's not going to score 20 goals. So he scored tonight. He missed chances that I would expect him to miss because he's not Callum Wilson. We never replaced Callum Wilson. So I think we've got to accept that. We've also got to remember that Josh King is not a natural goal scorer either. He scored 6 last year and he scored more than 10 twice in 5 seasons. So although Josh King will be a better finisher than Dom Solanke, he's also not a natural number 9. And the flaw, I think the only mistake we made in the transfer window is we didn't replace the striker that we had relied on for 6 years. So if we're going to set the expectation that he's going to bang goals in left, right and centre, you're going to be disappointed. I don't set that expectation anymore. So I'm not disappointed.
Okay. You were nodding broadly in agreement there, Keith.
Yeah, definitely. Josh King is not an out-and-out striker either. You look at his record; does speak for itself, and his assists are not particularly outstanding. What he's good is he's been direct and running at defenders and holding up the play. He's a good physical lad, but no, we haven't got anyone like that, and they are not. You can't go out and say, "Oh, we'll spend 15 million, get a 20 goal a season guy," because there aren't anyone like that. I think you'll have to look at how much a 20 goal a season guy is worth. I think they're 35, 40 million pounds. And I was looking at Leeds; they didn't have a 20 goal a season last season either. Carl's just put up an interesting stat: 6 matches, 2 goals, 2 assists. And we're right. If Callum Wilson was doing that, happy days. But it's Dom Solanke, and we are judging him on what he did last season and not what we're doing since restart. I mean, he gave us a shout in staying up. And we're putting a lot of pressure also on King and Brooks because we don't know where they're at mentally. And if we're building these players up to be, they're going to be the saviour. We're going to be disappointed with that. We've got to just accept what we are. But we are second top scorers in the league. So it's, Twitter meltdowns aside, we're not doing that badly. But expectations are really, really high, overly high for us at the moment, because we think, we need to get back into the league and what have you. And I said last week, I don't look at it like that. This is not 3-0 at Accrington. I'm sure you remember that. All you guys remember that one. We are where we are, and next game comes along, we just take each game as it comes. But there are people just losing their minds out there. If we're not scoring 8, we're the worst team in the world, and that's not a great mindset, to be honest. So I've seen a lot worse than what we're doing at the moment.
James, you were broadly smiling whilst Keith was saying that. Go on.
I guess no. I'm hearing terms like this player is going to be our saviour and all this, and I think we're still unbeaten. Traditionally, over the last few seasons, Bournemouth teams have had goals around the whole team. It's not been based around a single striker banging in 20, 25 goals a season. And we started off the season that way. We've had goals, from Danjuma, had goals from Solanke, had goals from Gosling. There are always going to the goals from Lerma, even is unheard of before this season. So I think this is a long season. The Championship is a tough league. It is Saturday, Tuesday. The worry for me is depth in squad, not the quality of what we've got. We've got quality in there. Solanke has to take responsibility for missing chances that he should be putting away. I never really like talk of strikers. Oh, this striker's a 10 and this striker's a 9. If you're a striker, he should be scoring goals. Let's be honest, particularly with the chances that were created for him tonight. So, but I'm positive. If you're feeling negative, if you're reading too much Twitter, get off it. It's a cesspit. You shouldn't be on Twitter. It's a dreadful place. Dreadful place to live your life.
Fair play, James. Thank you very much for coming on tonight. I really
Cheers,
appreciate
mate. All the best.
Cheers. Take care. That's James there. So, Keith, whilst you're not speaking, I've muted your mic just because there's a little bit of echo, even with headphones. So it could be that your volume coming through the headphones is a little bit so loud, your mic is still picking up your volume there. So if you just turn your volume down a little bit, we should be okay. What would you be doing against Watford in terms of formations, Kirk? You knew this question was coming.
I would load the midfield like I would have done tonight. I'd put 3 in there. I love the 3-4-3. It's one of my favourite formations under JT so far. So not for Watford though. I was worried when I saw Gosling in there with Lerma on his own, because I don't normally like Gosling in with a 2. I prefer him to be in with a 3 and have that freedom to get on and support. But do you know what? Gosling played really well tonight. His aggression, his desire, taking us up the pitch, winning free kicks, travelling with the ball for 20 yards. He was brilliant tonight. But I definitely want to load that midfield, probably get Lewis Cook back in there. It's definitely a game where we're going to need to hold possession where we can, because Watford have got a decent. They've got a decent team. They'll try and look to hold on to the ball. And if they've got players like Sarr available, they'll look to hit on the break with players like that. So, but yeah, I'd be very surprised if he goes with a 3-4-3 again at Watford. But you never know.
Never know. Now Morgan has just put Kirk. Would you start me after that performance? Well, maybe Kirkwood, but I tell you what, if we're talking keepy uppies, the next person who we're going to be bringing in would be 100% picked, and that's Steve Hensman. Steve.
Oh.
How are you?
Oh. Bring this man on.
Yeah.
Great legs as well.
Yeah.
I'm already attracted to you, Steve. Yeah, I just think you're the sexiest man on the internet.
Keith, do you want to go privately somewhere?
Yeah.
PM me afterwards, mate.
What was your analysis of that then, Steve?
I don't know. I missed the first 30 minutes because I couldn't get a bloody thing to work. £10 I paid for that.
Yeah, but a few people saying that, but I didn't have any issues. I mean, in the end, one thing I didn't quite realise until I was looking at the Vitals forum earlier, that obviously it was on the Sky Sports red button, but that was just a single camera view, and it said there might not even be any replays on that. And I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to be talking about this later, and I, happen to, look down to pick up my cup of tea, and then someone scores, and I can't even see the goal. So in the end, I paid the tenner for AFCB TV, I thought it was pretty good. It worked throughout, but not for you, by the looks of it.
No. I had, as I said in my Twitter post, I went from basically shouting at my TV, then it worked. And then we literally scored about 30 seconds after I turned it on, and it's just from complete low to massive high in about 30 seconds. But when I turned it on, that sort of 15-minute period, the end of the first half, I thought I was watching Brazil. I thought we were excellent.
I didn't want that first half to end, to be honest. And what was quite nice is that we then came out with the same intensity at the start.
Exactly.
Of the second half as well.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
really good to see.
And then. Well, I mean that 15-minute period, we were doing flicks, tricks. Everything was coming off. That Jeff Lerman pass for the goal. I just, I didn't even. I usually spot the passes. I didn't see that at all.
No.
And then we, like we said, we come out second half, and we was pedal to the metal again. We were straight at them again. And I don't really know what went on. We sort of just decreased the tempo a little bit. Things didn't start. They didn't come off as much, and Cardiff just eke their way back in it a little bit. And Mepham, poor, but I don't know. He turned one way, turned into trouble, and then Harry Wilson pops up.
Yeah, he's still got a fair bit of learning to do in that position.
Oh, of course.
Other than that, he did well. But like you said, it was great to see in that start of the second half. And there was that brilliant move where Junior Stanislas he started and ended the move. The ball came into his feet. He flicked it around the corner. He turned.
Yeah.
A brilliant counter attack, and then he ended up dragging the shot wide. There was Gosling and Solanke combined a bit later on, and defensively. Up until Harry Wilson's goal, I thought we looked all right because Steve Cook put in a great tackle when Cardiff broke, just about got a toe end on it. And there was a cross from one of the Cardiff City midfielders, and Chris Mepham just got a flick on to put it over the attacker's head. And, lots of little things that were happening. Rico pinging those zippy passes out. I thought we were looking all right. But then it's just these little moments of madness that we do, isn't it? And then we were punished by the player.
It's a little bit of overplaying it sometimes, isn't it? It's all it is.
I mean, we've had. Sorry.
Yeah, go on, Kurt.
I was going to say we've had a lot of change this season. One thing we haven't changed is this playing out from the back from a goal kick with no purpose. I have no issue with playing out from the back from a goal kick, but have something about it. Teams that do it, good teams that do it, they have triangles and they play themselves up to the halfway line. We play ourselves out to a throw-in on the edge of our box, or it ends up going out to Mepham or Rico back to Begovic, who kicks it onto the halfway line. I just kick it to the halfway line. It's what's
well, you're
the
essentially
point?
asking a centre half to be creative with a pass, aren't you?
Yeah, and I say it's the way the football's developed that a lot of teams do it. But if you watch, for example, Man City are probably the best team at doing it. They have a purpose, and when they start that goal kick, 3 or 4 or 5 players start moving in different angles, and they end up on the halfway after 4 passes. As I said, 9 times out of 10, it goes out to Mep and back to Begovic, kicks it onto the halfway line. Now, for me, just kick it to the halfway line. I don't get the point of it. Or 9 times out of 10, it'll go out to Rico. He'll try and play it to Smith, and it'll get intercepted, and it's a throw-in. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you, Kurt. We, in fairness to both Cardiff and QPR, they did play quite high tonight, and we really do need to develop our triangles. But this is about learning the formation, and that's what the 3-4-3 is all about. It's about the triangles. It's about keeping control of possession. I was thinking about the Watford game, Kurt. Would you bring in Billing to control the centre of the park for us?
I knew this was going to come up because I had spoken to Sam about this a few days ago before tonight. I actually thought Billing was going to go in tonight. I mean, I'm not a Billing fan. He's, I've said Marmite performances all season last year, but this was sort of a game made for Billing. Weirdly, can't really explain completely why, but I felt Billing was going to go in there because he that type of awkward footballer in a 3. I just felt suited the game today. For Watford, I think they're slightly different because they're all about they've got a bit of power, and I think he can be a bit lightweight sometimes. But I wouldn't be surprised if Billing goes in there. The only problem is I think Gosling played so well again that he might have forced himself into the team. But like others have said, he generally has a good game, a bad game, a good game. So
was Billing on the bench today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we know why he wasn't the other week?
Well, tactical reasons.
Tactical.
Whatever that means.
Okay. Which is bizarre because it was the QPR game was ideal for him. I've always seen him as a Callalero. I think his job is to get interceptions, close down passing lanes, and control the centre of the pitch for us. He's not box to box. I have no idea why people think he is that way. But he plays so well in a 3 when you want to control the possession. He can do that role. It's a limited role, but Didier Deschamps used to play that for France, and he did all right. So
similar builds, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. And but you know what I mean. He just shuttles the ball backwards and forwards. He's not going to be dynamic like Gozza. And when we want to go, when we go and playing someone like Coventry, Gozza's ideal for it. And I thought he was really great tonight in the 2. But I don't know. Watford's a tricky one. They are a power team, and that's going to be probably one of our toughest games next game. And they won tonight really comfortably as well. So they're going to have their tails up. So we'll see. But it might be the game for King if he wants to come and play. Because we might need that physicality up front, just to also hold up the ball and play off him a little bit more than say maybe Solanke or Danjuma or whoever we've got in mind. But it's a tough one. But I do agree, 5 in the midfield would be the way I would go for Watford. I'll go with Kirk on that. I think it's going to be controlling that midfield is going to make the difference in the game for the next game.
Kirk, are we as good as we think we are?
I mean, we're good enough for playoffs. I just think we're a little bit unbalanced sometimes with Smith on the left, especially if we're not controlling the game completely. Because I thought Smith wasn't great on Saturday, and he didn't really start that well, but he got better tonight as the game went on. I struggled to see Smith in this team when we've got fully fit players, because I see Lloyd Kelly coming in and you can't drop Rico. The problem is Smith tends to get picked because it's Adam Smith, and that was no different last season. So if he picks Stacey, I think the fans will be like, what you doing? And if you drop Stacey or Rico, I think the fans are going to be a bit confused. But Smith is the one out for me. But I think that would balance us up a bit, because Stacey gets wide and he crosses these balls in. And as I think I've commented in the live chat, Smith naturally will always cut in, and that makes the crossing angle different than when you go to the byline and pull it back. And so I would prefer Rico out there. And so on both flanks, it's more balanced and we're really whipping the balls in from both sides. But we're definitely playoffs. I think Cardiff won't be too far away from the playoffs. I'm not sure if we're automatic yet. I still think we're definitely a goal scorer short. I know I'm going to go back to it, but we've talked about this at the start of the season. When you win leagues and you blow teams away, generally you do have a striker that notches most of your goals, and then you've got your Danjumas and your Stanislas that add goals. And I think if we had Callum Wilson, for example, I'll use, tonight we win 2-1. Without someone like Callum Wilson, you don't win 2-1, you draw 1-1 because Stanislas won't always score and he'll hit the bar. Danjuma won't always score because they're not going to score 20. So they're going to tick your number up. But I think we'll be disappointed if we don't get playoffs.
Would it be a bit, given the value of the squad, it would almost be, it would be terrible. It would almost be poor if we didn't get top six based on the talent that we've got still in the squad. Despite the players that we've signed, we've still got Premier League quality players in there, Kurt.
Well, a question for Steve and Keith.
Yeah.
Do you think the start of the season we had sort of developed the window we had? Because we had such a good start and we played well in the Betway Cup and then we beat Blackburn, did they think we don't really need to replace Wilson?
Possibly.
I think the market for strikers anyway is, every team wants a 20 goal a season, and the market for them is really quite high now. Unless you're going to, Brentford have got Tomey, he seems to be, and Armstrong seem to be the outstanding ones at the moment. But I also think there is a trend now going away from a single attacking point anyway, from a 20 goal a season man, but there is more expected across the pitch anyway. I think Dan was saying that, and I think that's common with all teams because they are so expensive. You can't get a guy like that for 15 million quid. That just doesn't happen, and you have to develop your own players, which comes into something like, remember, we're not in the ground, so I would imagine our players are looking at Twitter, and if they've been slated before they've even kicked off, they're not going to have the confidence anyway. So we need to play a part in this as well. But I don't know, there are few and far between, and if you're any good, you're going to be playing in a decent Premiership side if you're scoring for fun. I don't think Watkins got 20 last season, and I can't think of anyone that was getting 20 in the Championship last season anyway.
But like you said, Keith, all these teams now are playing a front three where they're all chipping in. Like Brentford had Ben Rama. What did I say?
The new Steve Fletcher, that is.
Yeah.
Like Brentford had that front three of Watkins, Ben Rama, and the other. So I can't remember the other guy's name, but yeah, they called it the BMW, didn't they? You look at the Premiership; they've all got they talk about these top three, front threes, and like you say, I think you need to have those three players that are going to chip in with not necessarily 20 goals, but more like 10, 12 or whatever to be competitive.
Yeah,
and I think back when we had that pre-season, I think personally the club thought we had enough to cope in this league, and that's why I don't think I could only ever see loans. I've had this conversation with you, Kurt. I could only ever see loans coming in. I couldn't see us spending any money. We had to balance the books, and I think I think the squad thought, the management team thought we had enough.
Yeah, it's a lot of debate to be had. Just in a way, I'm quite glad these matches are coming thick and fast, so that we can see, our style and see if we are the threat that we all think we should be this season. And Watford is going to be. I know I said tonight Cardiff's going to be our biggest test yet. Watford's going to be huge, and looking forward to seeing how we cope with that. But for now, we're going to call it a day on the free for all for today, because there's a lot more to be discussed, and I'm going to have a forage onto social media and see what on earth is going on Twitter. I can't wait for that. But Kirk, thank you very much for coming on.
How's your Super 6 going, Sam? You get any better?
Mate, I forgot to do it this week.
Oh,
I forgot.
You amateur.
You know I put the actual message out on YouTube as well.
Why did you bring that up, Steve?
That's the only reason
Why
I did
you
it.
Bring that up?
I don't know where I am.
I'm sliding down the table.
I put the thing out on YouTube. I put a tweet out saying Super 6, and I forgot to do it. I think I don't know what went wrong, but I think I'd have only got 4 points anyway. But
Is this monetarised, Sam? Because I'm about to swear at Steve. Actually,
go on, fill your boots.
Oh no! Just fuck off, Steve. I don't know. Just fuck off, mate.
I love you too, Keith.
I look forward to that date, mate. I tell you, my missus is also looking forward to it too. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah.
I don't know what I've got myself into and how I've got myself into this, but
no, I mean, when you came on, you were, talking about DMing each other, and now you're swearing at each other like an old married couple. You two, I think it's beautiful. So it's a beautiful scene. Anyway,
lockdown brings us together.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much, Kurt, for today.
Cheers, Sam. Speak soon.
Yeah, we'll do. Looking forward to football.
Nice one, Kirk.
Monday. Cheers, Steve. Thank you very much for coming on.
Good to see you guys. See you next time.
Mate. Yeah, we'll do. And also, Keith Thomas, thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Nice one, Sam. Take care, mate.
Will do. Yeah, so there we go. It was 1-1, and just like the Middlesbrough game, it was a draw. Solanke scored first, and then we let the team in the second half, and they notched to make it 1-1. I think Cardiff do deserve a little bit of credit for the way they hung in there, but we should have really put the game to bed, I think. But they were economical with their attacks, and when they had a spell of possession, they put it in the net, and that's what we should have been doing. It's worrying a little bit. Should be killing these games off and making the most of our chances, but he was in the right place at the right time for our goal, and he was in the right place, but just couldn't quite convert for our other chances. Once again, there's a 50-50 split on a certain striker of ours, but we are creating chances hell of a lot better than Queen's Park Rangers, where we were awful. So anyway, coming up, it's a 12:30 kickoff against Watford. It is live on Sky. If you're a season ticket holder, you've got a code that you can watch on AFCB TV. And yeah, we're going to be doing the free-for-all as soon as the final whistle goes. So we'll be looking forward to seeing you then. Until then, see you in the next video. Up the Cherries.